Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
The long and winding road has led the Indians to Kansas City for their fourth and final stop on this road trip to play the second-place Royals. Three series wins for the Tribe, and a fourth in KC would leave a lasting impression on the rest of the American League Central. The tone setter is strikeout machine Corey Kluber, who will continue to make his case for the AL Cy Young Award. Next on Sports Time Ohio. From Cleveland to Tampa to Boston to Minneapolis and now on to Kansas City. Kauffman Stadium, the site where the Indians take on the Royals for the next 3 games on the schedule. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Another tough test up ahead for the Indians, but they've got the right man on the mound tonight. Corey Kluber, who needs 8 strikeouts to get to 200 strikeouts for the year, which would make him the fastest Indians pitcher to get to 200 strikeouts in a season.
Well, when you go back to June 1st, 14 starts, Corey Kluber has been on a roll. I don't think I've ever seen another pitcher that hot because we've been able to witness every start. He's striking everybody out. He gives up very few hits. He goes the distance a lot of times in ball games. He gives a rest to the bullpen. When you look at his numbers, he's first in ERA, 185. He's only third in wins because he's had a couple of starts where he could have wins. He didn't get them because the offense didn't show up. But strikeouts, opposition batting, complete games, he has been the total package. And he's the one guy you want on the mound when you start out a series.
And he missed a month of the season.
Right.
That's the other thing you forget about Kluber, as dominant as he has been. Where would his numbers look like had he not missed a month on the disabled list? Well, Kansas City, they're still charging hard. They may be, several games back of the Indians in the standings, but they're right there a half game out in the wild card, and a big reason for that is Mike Moustakas. He's never hit more than 22 home runs in a season, but he is closing in on becoming the Royals' single-season home run champ.
Well, Moustakas is a free agent at the end of the year, and he's had some kind of year. Earlier in the year when we saw him, he's been very aggressive, but the ball is flying off his bat, and it's leaving the park. 35 home runs. The Kansas City Royal record is 36. Steve Belboni has that record. He's soon to break that. And with runners in scoring position, if you remember early, they got off to a bad start in April and May. Look at with runners in scoring position, but every month it's gotten better and better, and they're hitting with runners in scoring position. And this is a team that doesn't walk a lot. They're 14th in walk, so they've got to hit their way.
Well, that's good news, though, for Corey Kluber, because he doesn't usually walk people. He goes right at them. He's always in attack mode from the first pitch of the game. This has been a good place for the Indians to play of late. They have won 8 of their last 11 here at Kauffman Stadium. Our coverage of Indians baseball continues in a moment. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Nature Stone, the only concrete solution. and the Royals all set to renew their rivalry here tonight. And the Indians begin the night 5.5 in front of Kansas City in the AL Central, 6 up in the loss column. The Indians have played very well on this current road trip, and one of the big reasons why, the addition of Jay Bruce, who joined the team when the Indians got to Tampa Bay to take on the Rays when this road trip began. Andre Knott caught up with him before tonight's game with our Here Right sounds of the game.
You got to play in this road trip. You've got to play at 2 ballparks that you've never played at before. And being in the league for as long as you've been in the league, what was it like to play at Fenway?
It was great. It reminded me a lot of Wrigley in a lot of ways, just kind of the nostalgia and the way, the history there. And it was cool. It was really cool. I really, honestly, during the season, don't give myself a whole lot of time to think about stuff like that because you're so overtaken by everything that you're dealing with on the field and everything like that. But it was a very cool place to play.
Then you never played in Minnesota as well, correct? So what did you think of Minnesota? And both of those places a little different in right field. Yes.
Minnesota's definitely different than Fenway. And I thought they did a great job with the stadium. I'm not sure why they forewent the roof. But, the weather was great when we were there. And I think they did a really nice job with it.
Who's been your best teammate or helped influence you to be the guy that you are today?
I would say 2 people. I would say Scott Rowland by a long shot. He's the most professional and hardworking and, baseball player I've ever been around in my life. I was so fortunate to have played with him and Joey Votto. Obviously, Cleveland fans know a little bit about Joey just being around, playing against him and everything. But, he is probably pretty easily the best hitter I've ever been around, and the way he goes about his business with preparation and getting ready for games and kind of, staying on track when it comes to working and preparing is something that I've never seen before, and I was very fortunate to get to play with him.
What's your best moment of playing in the postseason? Because you had a couple big hits.
Yeah, so I would say my best, I'm going to count this as a postseason, but I hit a home run to clinch the NL Central to send us to the playoffs. And then it was probably, my first game, just playing in the playoffs, getting there. We did not have a lot of success in the playoffs, but just getting there, for me was very special. But I would say the home run to clinch the NL Central in 2010 was my, kind of best playoff type moment.
All right, well, thank you very much, Andre. Corey Kluber getting ready to start tonight's game for the Indians, and we'll be back with tonight's first pitch right after this.
All right, here we go. Road trip start number 4, and the first 3 have been very good. And we're going to check out Kansas City tonight and check out our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher. It's going to be Ian Kennedy for the Royals, who is 4-8 this year with a .480 earned run average. He has only made 1 start against the Indians this year. Was a no decision. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits and 4 runs in that ball game, 1 home run. But He has had his problems at home this year. He does not have a win. He's winless in his last 14 starts that go back almost a year. August 20th of last year was his last win in this ballpark. This year he's 0-5 with a 5.43.
All right, the Indians starting lineup for Terry Francona brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Francisco Lindor in the leadoff spot. Then it's Jason Kipnis. Austin Jackson will bat third tonight. Edwin Encarnacion in the cleanup spot. Jay Bruce batting fifth. Carlos Santana sixth. Then it's Yan Gomes, Bradley Zimmer, and Giovanni Urshela.
All right, let's check out the Royals defense. It is brought to you by WB Mason. They are rated #1 in the league. They made only 54 errors on the year. And it looks like this: Gordon in left, Cain in center, Cabrera in right, Moustakas at third, Escobar at short, Merrifield at second, Hosmer is at first, Butera doing the catching.
Ron Culpa has the plate tonight. Marvin Hudson at first, Brian Knight at second, Chris Conroy down at third. And with that, we are ready to go. Francisco Lindor had his 9-game hitting streak snapped in the second game of the doubleheader in Minnesota. He was one hit shy of what would have been his fourth 10-game or more hitting streak.
That's very impressive. That does not happen often.
First pitch strike from Ian Kennedy. Down and in. 87 degrees our game time temperature. Massive thunderstorm passed just south, or I should say just north of the ballpark about a half an hour ago. The 1-1 fouled right back.
We've seen enough of rain on this trip. We're good.
We've had our fill.
Yes, we have. Now, Kennedy has only allowed 101 hits in his 120 innings. Has held the opposition to 6 or fewer hits in 19 of his 22 starts.
Popped up. That's going to get out of play. Lindor sends a high fly ball down the line. Melky Cabrera into foul ground, makes the running catch. Acquired from Chicago. And Melky Cabrera with a nice play in foul ground for out number 1. Storylines tonight brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Ian Kennedy gets through the first. It's the second, third, and fourth innings where he's had a lot of trouble. And we'll see if Corey Kluber can match up well against this Kansas City lineup. Up comes Jason Kipnis. Kipnis Jason was on a pretty good roll offensively for the second game of that doubleheader yesterday. He had hit in 3 straight with a couple of home runs. And now Kipnis drives the ball to deep right field, and this baby is gone into the Indians bullpen, and the Tribe jumps on top early. Kipnis with his 11th home run of the season, RBI number 30. And the Indians lead it 1-0, and that's the 23rd home run allowed by right-hander Ian Kennedy this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kennedy, a guy that's not overpowering, you know, throwing that fastball about 91, 92. But with Kipnis, he's on a little mini streak now, hitting the long ball. And this is going to be our Yellowwood bringing the lumber in how about the first inning? Solo shot for Kipnis. He hits his 11th. And one swing of the bat, the Indians will play from in front.
For Jason Kipnis, that's his 3rd home run in the last 5 games now. Here's Austin Jackson. And a breaking ball in for a strike. And with Jose Ramirez out at least for the short term, Terry Francona electing to put Austin Jackson in the 3-hole. And he shoots one into right field.
And that's the one reason why, because he's putting up quality at bats.
And I think he also likes the dynamic of Encarnacion, Bruce, and Santana consecutively in a lineup, and I think he wants to keep that group together too.
Well, why would you? There's a breaking ball, but you see, he stayed on it, and that's been his approach all year. We've commented on it time and time again, and he's just staying within himself and doing a really nice job. So it doesn't matter where Terry puts him. He's not going to change what he's doing.
Tito told me before the game he expects Jose Ramirez to be back in there tomorrow night.
You know, when you go ask a player and he says, you know, I think I'm going to give it a try and I think I can go. That's what you say. If you think you can go, I'm going to give you one more day until you convince me that you can't go. And it's a smart thing to do.
Now the pitch to Edwin Encarnacion, and it's in there for a strike. Now that's not to say, as Tito mentioned earlier, if you get to the 6th, 7th, 8th inning and you maybe need somebody, he could be available tonight.
That's true.
Edwin chops it foul, third base side.
Five dingers in his 8 games on the road. We always talk about this ballpark being awfully big to hit homers in, but the ball.
Encarnacion punches one to right, and Melky Cabrera goes back and makes the catch. I think he had trouble judging just how far that ball was going to carry.
He was fooled on the swing. I mean, you watch where the catcher's sitting and watch where the pitch is. They want it inside. Butera slides in. Now all of a sudden that thing is a foot outside. He missed it by 2 feet. But you see, it's that swing that fooled the outfielder, and that thing had some carry to it. I was going to say Kipnis' ball short hopped that wall out in the bullpen.
Yeah.
So it had some good carry to it. So this ball, a little warm tonight, seems like it's carrying pretty well in Kansas City early.
Jay Bruce. Now 30 home runs on the year, 81 driven in.
Well, and he has fit into this ball club beautifully. Teammates love him already, and his bat has been doing the talking. He's done a nice job in right field as well.
Takes a strike. Jay Bruce drives the ball to deep right field. Again, Cabrera's back. He's out of room. It's out of here. Jay Bruce sends one to the fountains in Kansas City, and the Indians' lead is now 3-0. Their second home run of the inning and the 31st of the year for Jay Bruce.
Well, Kipnis hit a fastball. Bruce hit the curveball, and he hung it up there, and he kept his hands back, and he hit it high, and it went deep. Cabrera could only turn to look. Came down into his nitro zone, and bingo, what do you know? The Indians have 3 on the board in the first. What a way to start. Bruce just got his first home run yesterday with the Indians, and he's doubling up on it in a hurry.
What an addition he has been in a short amount of time. And now Carlos Santana. Again, the Royals employ a shift. They had it on for Bruce. They put it on for Santana.
This has taken the crowd right out of it early. But the 2 swings of the bat, they have.
And it looks like Rick, it's a sellout or close to it.
It should be a sellout tonight.
Santana takes a strike. Now, if you didn't have a chance to see my conversation with Tito before the game on Indians Live, And I'm sure Andre may have some more to add to this story, but a little unusual. He brought in a DJ. He had a disc jockey. And he had a Pop-A-Shot machine like you used to play in the old arcades, a little mini basketball hoop. He said, I just wanted to give the guys something to just kind of relax, have some fun. He said, these are the dog days of summer, long road trip. He said, I want them to know we appreciate the effort that they're giving us night in, night out. So we brought in some things to just liven up the atmosphere so everybody wasn't kind of coming here dragging. You know, the team got in fairly late last night after a long doubleheader. And I think the guys appreciate it. They were like 10-year-olds around that Pop-A-Shot machine.
That's good. Well, I like the 2 swings they put on the baseball here in inning number 1.
The Pop-A-Shot machine stays. The 2-2. Santana pulls it foul. I don't know how much the DJ costs. Maybe Andre could double up as a DJ from now and then. Or Steve Ball.
Tell you this, after the way they've started, that DJ isn't going anywhere this weekend. Neither is that Pop-A-Shot. We'll have more on it a little later, but it is a really cool thing to see what the Indians have done. And Tito just said he wanted to show his guys that, you know, that they get it. He's tired too, that they love him. He said he couldn't do this though if he had a team that he didn't trust would come prepared to play tonight.
Yeah.
And they've done that. He didn't want to. He said he wouldn't do this just with any team, but they trust each other and they figured it was the best thing to do to loosen the atmosphere up.
Now the 2-2. Low and away at a full count. Say, Rick, this is a shades of game 1 yesterday where they made Gibson work extremely hard to get through the first inning.
Put crooked number on the board early.
3-2 in the air to right. Playable for Melky Cabrera this time. And the side is retired. Every ball in the inning went to right field. 2 of them left the yard, and the Indians lead it 3-0.
The top half of the inning, we're going to take a look at our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher for the Indians. Corey Kluber coming on, has been on a roll, 11-3 at 2.71 ERA. A shorter outing for him last start. He only went 7 innings. He gave up 4 hits and 3 runs, but he did get his 11th win. And this will be the first time he's pitching against Kansas City this year.
Royals starting lineup for Ned Yost brought to us by Hankook Tires. Whit Merrifield leads it off. Lorenzo Cain batting second. Eric Hosmer 4th in the American League in batting average, hits 3rd. Melky Cabrera in the cleanup spot. Mike Moustakas tied for 2nd in the league in homers with 35, his hitting 5th. Then it's Brandon Moss, Alcides Escobar, Alex Gordon, and Drew Butero. Corey Kluber delivers a fastball for strike 1 to Whit Merrifield.
Kansas City team is normally an aggressive swinging team. They like to get after it early if they know you're going to throw strikes.
Even if you're not an aggressive swinging team by nature, we've seen that whether it's a team philosophy or just the individual hitters' philosophies against Kluber, they like to swing early.
Well, after you go through it the first time and you see that slider that you can't hit, and when he gets ahead of you, you pretty much know you're going to get it. You don't want him to be ahead in the count 0-2, 1-2.
Up and away. Merrifield swings and misses, and he's now 0 for his last 15 at the plate. 1 down.
Well, and that's like I said, when you get to 0-2, 1-2, what are you going to get? That right there. And it doesn't matter. That's a tough pitch to hit. When he can locate it, he knows you're going to be aggressive going after it early. He'll start you off with a breaking ball too. So first hitter he faces, he strikes out.
Lorenzo Cain is hitting 4 straight, going 7 for his last 16. He's having himself a month of August that has really pumped some life into this lineup. Batting .417. He has 9 multi-hit efforts in 15 games this month. Right back to Kluber. And the underhand flip for out number 2.
Let's check the Indians defense, brought to you by Ram. In the outfield from left to right, it'll be Jackson, Zimmer, and Bruce. Infield third to first, Urshela, Lindor, Kipnis, Santana. Yan Gomes doing the catching as always.
Eric Hosmer. Second in the American League in hits with 145. Shoots it out of play.
You know, this is the Royals team now. As I told you earlier, they've second to last in walks in the league. They've only got 298 walks, so they like to swing their way. This year, they're on pace. They have 152 home runs. The most they've ever hit is 168 as a team, coming back in 1987. So they're going to blow past that, I would think. So some of these hitters that they've, you know, they're getting a little older. They're learning how to hit. They hit in the counts. Hosmer having a career year. I mean, Moustakas as far as home runs go.
Missed inside, 2-1. Wow, good fastball and a tad high, I guess. Hosmer's had good numbers against Kluber in his career. A .280 average, with 9 of his 14 hits having gone for extra bases. Down low, ball 4. Well, that's going to bring up Melky Cabrera, the switch hitter who came over from Chicago right at the deadline for a couple of minor league pitchers.
Well, and he's done a nice job. Cabrera, he's hitting .349 against the Indians this year in the 11 games with the White Sox. But in his last game before he was traded, he had 4 hits against the Indians when we were in Chicago, and Kluber was on the mound that day. Remember, he got traded right when we were there the next day.
Well, you know, like Jay Bruce, how well he's fit in with the Indians. Melky Cabrera, of course, he did play here before, but he's hit in 14 of the 17 games he's played since coming over in the trade.
Well, fits into this lineup nicely. Switch hitter.
Up high, ball 1. That'll even the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oh, nice off-speed pitch.
Well, he went cutter.
1-2.
Yeah, after he fell behind, he went cutter to get in the strike zone. And then this one is the curveball slider, whatever you want to call it, the bigger breaking ball.
Popped him up.
Good job.
Lindor makes the catch. No runs, no hits, 1 man left after an inning. It's the Indians 3 and the Royals nothing. And here in the 2nd inning, bottom third of the order due up for Cleveland. Yan Gomes, Bradley Zimmer, Giovanni Urshela. Ian Kennedy allowing 2 home runs in that 1st inning.
Yeah, he's got to try and right the ship and then put some zeros on the board. But if you're the Indians offense, you want to go one more and get that magic number, 4 runs for Kluber. You already got 3 in the 1st, so continue to add.
Gomes coming off one of his best games of the year. He was 3 for 3 in the 1st game of that doubleheader yesterday. He reached base safely all 5 times up. He had a walk. He was also hit by a pitch. 3-run homer was a huge hit in that game as it really blew the game open for the Indians in the 8th inning.
Yeah, it came at the right time. It sure did. Had a good day.
Good off-speed pitch. Kennedy really slowed that one down to 76 miles an hour.
That's the one he's going to have to locate. He tried to do that to Jay Bruce, but he left it up a little bit. Bruce shot him to right field. But I think that's going to be an important pitch to keep the hitters honest.
Fastball up and away.
You know, he's not overpowering, and about a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, but he likes to pitch up, and he does it just a little bit above the belt. So he may give up a lot of fly balls, but the first 2 he gave up, they left the yard.
Gomes went chasing up and away. First strikeout for Kennedy, 1 down.
Well, you look on the Nissan pitch tracker, this is the one that Gomes has to lay off. Any hitter does, really. That was out of the zone. It was a ball, and he got him to chase after it, so he gets his first strikeout.
And now Bradley Zimmer. Snapped his offer yesterday. I think somewhat rather predictably, he said afterwards, it felt like a huge weight lifted off my back.
Well, yeah, you can go to bed knowing that you can still hit. You know, you got to find one. I don't care if you break your bat or what. He got it off the left-hander and it came in between first and second base, but that's a streak you don't want to get into. That's why sometimes when you go through streaks like that, he was going through an 0 for 34 early in the game. It helps if you get a hit. But there you go. Get down. Get down.
Shoots one in the left. And Bradley Zimmer picks up the Indians' 4th hit of the night already.
That's what you need to get you rolling a little bit, give you a little confidence early. But stayed on it nicely. That looked like a little spinner as well. That one was up and stayed right on it and went to left field.
Giovanni Urshela.
Wait until looks like Zimmer's got to get all his gear on, his glove or whatever he's putting on his hand, the wrist protector.
Yeah, he has quite a few accessories because he's got the elbow protector. He's got to take that off, and then he's got to put on that wrist protection.
Well, they have so many different kinds of things you can wear now. They're going to have a suitcase for first base coaches over there when the guys get to first, with the batting gloves, the protection and everything that they have, and then you got to give them something else. Kennedy about average going to home plate. 1.3 seconds delivering it to your catcher is about average. He's about 1.25. So we'll see how he feels at first. Quick spin move, and this is all part of Zimmer's experience now. You know, coming into this ballpark to new pitcher, got to get a good look and see what's going on. I'm sure Sandy gives them what they're looking for the tools, but until you're out there on your own.
Right back up the middle. It caroms off of Kennedy right to Escobar. He throws out Urshela for out number 2. Zimmer moves into scoring position. So a bad break for Urshela.
Well, it was, unless I don't know if anybody would have had it on the middle infield. I don't know if it would have been a double play ball. See, Merrifield was going over in that direction. But it deflected right over to Escobar, and he was able to still make the throw on Urshela. So he caught a break. Zimmer gets himself into scoring position.
And if Lindor can deliver a hit, good chance to get a run home here.
Yeah, this is on this ballpark, when you have speed and the outfield has to play a little deeper because of the size of the outfield, it's automatic you're waving your guys around with 2 outs. You know, big difference now. You have Butera, who's doing the bulk of the catching now with Perez out. Salvador Perez intercostally. He's on the DL and has missed, I'd say about 11 or 12 games already.
He's only thrown out 3 of 24.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to be the big guy, but you know, you still have to step in, and you're not going to do all the things that your all-star catcher does. Getting on the same page with that starting pitcher is number 1.
2-0 to Lindor.
Doesn't want to give in and give him the fastball, so he comes in with a 2-0 breaking ball. You file that one, especially with first base open. You've got a runner out there, and right now Kennedy does not want to give up any more runs to the Indians.
Out of play.
Looked like a little changeup away. He had him reach after to foul it off.
Popped it up left field. Gordon is there. And the side is retired. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Indians 3, Royals nothing.
Sports Service is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market game live at home, in the office, or on the go for just $19.99. Visit MLB TV for the details.
Corey Kluber goes to work here in the second inning. Mike Moustakas sitting on 35 home runs this year to lead it off.
Careful on the first pitch. This guy likes to swing early. Yeah, and that record's been around since 1985. Steve Balbone's 36 home run year. I remember it. Remember it well, their World Series year.
Moustakas is another guy who has had good career numbers against Corey Kluber, batting .459, 6 doubles and a homer. What?
Turned on that one, and that might be a homer. That is. That's way up at the top of that. As far as he pulled that.
He pulled that almost over the top of his own dugout.
Yep. That was the breaking ball down and in.
Adam reaching for that one, but he fights it off. Moustakas riding an 8-game hitting streak.
Yeah, everybody thought this team was going to be sellers at the trade deadline, but Dayton Moore, the general manager, says no, we're sticking it together. I owe it to the fans and I owe it to these players. Their last hurrah, even though they have, what, about 5 free agents on this ball club. And they have been able to band together and get themselves back into it after really a horrendous start in April. There you go, out in front. That's how you want to take the sting out of the bat.
Kipnis calling for it. The second baseman makes the catch. One away. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. Corey Kluber. 14 consecutive games where he has struck out 8 or more. Very short list.
Well, yeah, we've watched him every start, and it's been something special because even though he's piling up the strikeouts, he does it in tidy fashion. Where, you know, at the end of the game, he has a couple of complete games through this, and you're talking about 110 pitches or less.
Hit hard but foul by Brandon Moss. And a look of frustration comes across his face. We saw a lot of that when he was in Cleveland.
Well, sometimes the frustration is when you're facing a guy like Kluber and you're a hitter and you think you get a pitch you should hit and you do hit it and it goes foul. That's the one you wanted. Because against good pitchers, you may not get another decent pitch to hit in an at-bat.
Hit well to deep center. Zimmer on a dead sprint, and he's going to watch it go. Home run number 16 this year for Brandon Moss. His solo shot in the second gets the Royals on the board. It's a 3-1 ball game.
Well, he got a fastball down. Oh, that might have been a little cutter there. The slider had stayed down, but he shot it to straightaway center field. And the ball is carrying at Decay tonight. 16th home run allowed by Kluber and the 16th hit by Moss.
Alcides Escobar looks at a ball outside. To center. Zimmer has room this time. 2 down. Let's go down to Andre.
All the success that Corey Kluber has had since he's come off the DL, this is now the 6th start in a row that he's given up a home run. I talked to him about this after the last start, and he said, a little bit like Josh Tomlin, he says, as long as I'm giving them up and they're solo shots and I'm staying around the plate, I'm okay with it. I don't like giving them up, but he says that means I'm consistently staying around the plate and I'm not getting behind guys. I know they're aggressive against me. It's going to happen at certain times.
Some of the great pitchers and Hall of Fame pitchers that I've played against and seen and have talked to, Jim Palmer, Bert Blyleven, Catfish Hunter, those guys used to give up a lot of home runs, but most of them that they gave up were solo shots, you know, because they're throwing strikes. They're not going to walk hitters. You go back and look at the track records of those guys, and it's the same thing. Like you said, I may not like giving them up, but if they hit one out, there's nothing you can do. Where was it? Where somebody hit 3 solo shots against us, and it was Bauer's start in Boston on this trip. They hit 3 solo shots, and the Indians came back and they were able to win that one.
Good pitch. Fastball struck him out looking to end the inning. Kluber has struck out 2. The Royals have scored 1. They get on the board on the Brandon Moss homer. 3-1 Cleveland as we head to the 3rd. Friday night to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Jason Kipnis will lead off the third inning. Kipnis homered to right his first time up.
Yeah, he got the ball rolling in the first inning. That's always nice. You know, we went through 2 of those games yesterday in the doubleheader where you had Lindor leading off, Kipnis second, and then Kipnis first and Lindor second. I like it when Lindor leads off and Kipnis hits second better. I don't know if it stays like that, but
3-0. And he draws a 4-pitch walk to start the third. There was Jason's home run of the first inning.
that came off a fastball. Watch it short up that back wall out there.
And then Jay Bruce with the man aboard clobbered a 2-run homer into the Fountains. Both home runs were identical in distance. They tell us both traveled 411 feet.
Is that right? Yeah. One on a fastball, one on a breaking ball.
Austin Jackson. He shot that breaking ball through the right side of the infield his first time up.
See how he really slowed it down on that first pitch, about 76 miles an hour, just to get it over, get me over, because last time up, Jackson, after the home run, shot him to right field between first and second. Stayed on a breaking ball.
Now he pulls the ball to left field, but right at Alex Gordon.
Isn't that funny? You hit that ball better, and you got nothing to show for it. You push one to the other side, and you get the base hit. Well, you don't want to miss your chance to see the Indians postseason baseball this year in person. You can purchase 2018 season tickets to unlock access to all 2017 postseason games. That includes the World Series. Just go to Indians.com/season tickets.
Edwin Encarnacion flied to right in the first. High towering pop. And in the left field again, Alex Gordon makes the catch. 2 down. T-Mobile unlimited baseball break. 30 homer seasons among active players. Jay Bruce and Edwin have both done it 5 times. Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera.
They're in a different world. But yeah, you got your number 4 and 5 hitter in the lineup on that list. Pretty good.
So far tonight, Alex Gordon has 3 putouts in left. Melky Cabrera has 3 putouts in right. You ever have a game in center field where you're looking to your left, you're looking to your right, it's like, man, nobody's ever hit a ball out here.
Yeah.
And then about the time you start thinking that, bang.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you throw that high fastball. He's a fly ball pitcher. This is a good yard to be a fly ball pitcher in, but a couple left the yard early. Yeah, I just find it, Ian Kennedy's a good pitcher. He's a workhorse. He goes out there, and he's one of 5 pitchers to make at least 30 starts from 2010 to 2016, joining Scherzer, Lester, Shields, and Cole Hamels. So he goes out there. He's a workhorse. But for him to be in his home park and not have a win this year, I find that hard to believe. In 10 starts, and you got to go back a year. Last team he beat here was Minnesota.
2-1 pitch. Bruce hammers another ball to right field. That's going to get down, but cut off by Cabrera. Kipnis will make it to third. Indians at the corners with 2 down. And Jay Bruce is 2 for 2 on the night.
You know, he's not a typical left-hander where he loves that ball down and in. He's a guy, a left-hander that can hit the ball up in the zone. Look at this. He got on that fastball and roped it, and the breaking ball he threw him in the first at-bat was up a little bit, and he hit it out of the ballpark. So a left-hander that likes it up. I like that.
All right, so Jay Bruce has set the table for Carlos Santana with 2 down. Santana flied out to right to end the first inning. And he takes down in the dirt, ball 1. Nice block by Butera. Kipnis always looking to take the extra base. I don't think anybody will ever forget his mad dash from home in Game 7 of the World Series from second base.
Yeah, he's throwing a lot of the big boys changeups there.
Down in the dirt. 3-0. He started this inning by walking Jason Kipnis on 4 pitches. And now he's 3-0 to Santana.
Well, you know, he doesn't want to really walk him, but he's being very careful with, I think, Gomes on deck. Even though you have first base open, he's trying not to give up another run, so he's going to do everything in his power.
There is a strike call.
And I mean, right out on the outside edge. That just shaved the outside edge. Let's see where he's sitting. He's sitting off the plate. And I mean, he's going to aim it at that right shin guard where his knee is. And that's about where he hit it, because he was sitting almost in that right-handed batter's box.
Action already in the Kansas City bullpen, and that's ball 4. The bases are loaded.
Yeah, he did not want to throw Santana anything. He was being very careful, and now he's walked the bases loaded. So he could be 1 hit from getting out of here, as the pitching coach is going to go out and talk to him, just to give that bullpen time to get loose.
Now left-hander Scott Alexander. Royals also have a newcomer. Kevin McCarthy's in the bullpen after they had to put Joaquin Soria on the disabled list.
Dave Island really staying out there, just not much more, just saying, let's go. You got to get this next guy out, but he's trying to get his bullpen time. Well, 2-out base hit here could go a long way.
Yan Gomes struck out his first time up. Back to the windup for
That makes sense
Kennedy.
to me. That makes sense. He's struggled out of the stretch, so go from that full windup.
Off the end of the bat, he lines it into right field, a base hit. Kipnis scores. Jay Bruce is coming home. Cabrera's throw to the plate way offline. Down to second goes
Big
Kipnis,
hit.
and on his way to third is Carlos Santana. And the Indians' lead is now 5-1 as Yan Gomes drives in a pair with a base hit to right field.
That was a nice job. He came back, started him off with the fastball, and then threw him a breaking ball, and Gomes just stayed on it. Beautiful job of hitting by Yan off the plate for a ball. And that's going to knock him right out of the ball game. Kennedy will not get out of the third inning. Big 2-out base hit now, and he goes to second base on the trailer. And it's a very short night for Kennedy.
We've already seen here tonight the impact Jay Bruce has had on this lineup, the length that he has given it. He hit a 2-run homer in the first. He extends the inning with a base hit here in the third. Santana draws the walk, and Gomes delivers with 2 outs. So we've got a timeout in Kansas City. The Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made for left-hander Scott Alexander, and we'll be right back. Alexander. And he's into the game because Yan Gomes knocked Ian Kennedy out with a 2-out, 2-run single, and that gives Gomes 22 2-out runs batted in on the year. Now Bradley Zimmer, who singled his first time up, and a fastball strike. Swung over the top. And Alexander quickly ahead of him, 1-2. Swung on and missed, and Alexander comes on and quickly strikes out Bradley Zimmer to end the inning. But Yan Gomes knocks the KC starter out. And it's now 5-1 Cleveland.
Wednesday. Come on out. You can celebrate two-time Manager of the Year, Terry Francona. He's going to pass out a bobblehead. 12,500 fans will receive it to be against the Boston Red Sox, courtesy of Pepsi. Great seats still remain. You can grab a district ticket or a KeyBank Kids ticket. Just go to Indians.com for your tickets. All 4 games with the Red Sox. Night game, 7 o'clock starts. 7:10 to be exact.
Corey Kluber facing Drew Butera, and his first pitch in there for a strike.
Yeah, he's been getting most of the playing time with Salvador Perez on the DL. 12 games. Butera's hit .317, 8 runs scored, or the tandem has, filling in for him.
Couldn't get him to chase. Swung on and missed. Corey Kluber has his 3rd strikeout of the night. 1 down here in the 3rd, and we go down to Andre Knott.
Well, Matt, you mentioned this in the 1st inning. What's Terry Francona put together after his team's been away for 8 days?
Rats.
He breaks out a DJ for the clubhouse. The DJ was in the clubhouse as soon as the guys walked in today, and then he threw in a Pop-A-Shot machine, and he even got into as well himself.
Sorry, Andre. We'll catch up with you later. Guess they forgot to put the batteries in. Whit Merrifield leads off, takes a pitch up and in, ball 1. Swung out and missed. Outside by just a bit.
Yeah, but that's always when Kluber's around. When he misses, it is very close. It's always a just miss. It would have to be fun to be an umpire, to get behind home plate and call balls and strikes with Kluber on the mound, I would think. Because you know everything's going to be around home plate, you know. So you can get in that little comfort chair and just sit there and watch him deal. See Kluber after an Indians loss 4-0 in his 7 starts, and that's a true ace right there. When your team goes out and takes the field, you say, I know we're going to win today. We've got our man on the bump. But it's been like that for a lot of starters recently.
Right back to Kluber. Corey with a flip. 2 down. That's going to bring up Lorenzo Cain. He tapped one back to Kluber his first time up tonight. And a fastball strike to Lorenzo Cain. On the year, the Indians have split 6 games with the Royals here at Kauffman Stadium. chopped to short. And Lindor throws him out by a whisker. No, they call him safe.
Well, he sat back and took his time, and it sort of surprised me. You know, it's like, you know who's running.
Terry's going to challenge this. I think he was out.
Well, they already looked at it. I'm sure. I figured he sat back and he knew how much time he had. That's. Oh
Out.
yeah. I would agree with you right there.
Yeah, that's not
Well,
even
we've
close.
seen something yesterday, though, in Minnesota, though.
Well, that's true. You're
So,
right.
You know what? I'm just going to hold off before I say
You're
anything.
right.
There's the ball in the glove already, and
There-
what's not there. So
There may not be 100% sufficient evidence, so you're right.
just sit back and wait. This one shouldn't take long. Yeah,
There
no
we go.
kidding.
Restoring our faith in the system.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3, go the Royals. We go to the fourth, 5-1 Cleveland. Gomes, so far so good. Brandon Moss with a solo homer, the only hit allowed by Corey through 3 innings. He has struck out 3, he's walked 1. And the Indians have given him 5 runs on the board already. Giovanni Urshela rounded out his only time up. Scott Alexander came on and retired Bradley Zimmer to end the 3rd. And Urshela rolls one to Moustakas, his counterpart. 1 down. All right, we think we have Andre's communication system restored.
Can you hear me?
We hear you loud, like you're standing next to us.
Oh, I can do that better. Hey, look, the Indians had a DJ after playing 8 games in 8 days, including a doubleheader. Terry Francona and Brad Mills, decided to bring in a DJ and even a Pop-A-Shot machine. And Tito even got involved as well. He got it for the weekend. He basically said he wanted to show the guys some love. He said he was tired himself yesterday. He felt like the team was dragging yesterday. So they wanted to do whatever they could to tell him they appreciate him and they want him to be a part of it. Now, I got to ask you something, March.
Yes.
Got a couple extra dollars to lend me. Tito wants me in on the Pop-A-Shot machine. And
You're on, buddy. I'll be your bankroll.
then we might have some extra
Let me
money on
ask
the way
you,
home,
are
baby.
you a hoopster first? I've never seen you shoot hoops.
You already said yes, and we got you on tape. You got to worry about that later.
All right, don't worry about it. I'll back you.
Here's the 1-0, and Francisco Lindor takes a strike.
I just want I want to see you shoot it, though. I want that on tape, too.
Don't you worry.
Tell
I'm
Baller,
sure it
tell
will.
Baller to get it.
Baller's trying to take over the DJ set. I told him it's not for him, it's for the players.
The 1-1 swung on and missed. Now the 2-2. And a foul right back by Lindor. The 2-2. And he struck him out. 2 down in the inning. It's going to bring up Jason Kipnis. Remember earlier I said with Jason Kipnis at third, you always have to be aware he's an alert base runner. Remember back in the World Series, he's at second base on this wild pitch that gets away. It staggered the catcher, and Kip came all the way around from second base to score.
Remember that well.
That got the crowd back into that game. Shades of Kenny Lofton. You know, you don't see that very often. A guy going.
Well, yeah, but you saw where the catcher just fell over because and that gave him time to kick it into gear.
But it's also one of those fundamental rules in sports that we all probably learn at a young age at some point. Never assume. You know, you've got to keep your head up. If you just assume, well, I'm going to go to third and stop there.
Right.
But he had his head up. He was watching, seeing what was going on, and he went for it. Tapped the third, Moustakas. And the Indians go 1-2-3 here in the fourth. It's 5-1. Of Levin Furniture, Eric Hosmer will be a free agent at season's end. He's fourth in the league in batting average, as I mentioned earlier. He's a 3-time Gold Glove winner, and he's been pretty clutch in postseason play. In addition to Hosmer, Arch, Lorenzo Cain, who bats ahead of him in the lineup, a free agent at the end of the year. Mike Moustakas, a free agent at the end of the year. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop, also a free agent. Jason Vargas, who leads the team with 14 wins and a 3.45 ERA, he's a free agent at the end of the year. And Kelvin Herrera, he's not a free agent, but he is arbitration eligible. And I bring that up because he has 26 saves already this year. He had 12 last year and he made $5.3 million. So if he goes to arbitration with 26 saves now, that's going to go up significantly.
You would certainly think so.
So Kansas City, Dayton Moore, who's done a fantastic job putting this club together, building it from within for the most part, adding when available, free agent wise. Ned Yost guiding them to back-to-back World Series appearances, one World Championship. But they've got tough decisions ahead. which is why people are on pins and needles here in Kansas City, wondering as the trade deadline neared, were they going to just start dumping guys and rebuild? No, they kept it all together to make one last run for it.
Well, he said the guys deserved it. They grew up together, and I understand that. The rules have changed now. When you lose a free agent, you don't get that first round pick depending on how they are qualified, a type A player or type B, and you're going to have to take your pick. This would be the guy I think would be my selection of the guy they will try to keep, because you can't keep everybody. It'll be too expensive.
Hosmer jammed, rolls it to short. Lindor unloads it. One away. Timeout for a game break. Here's Al Pawlowski.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, first of all, how many guys at 20 years old are going to get in the big leagues, let alone, come out and hit back-to-back home runs against them? But that's very impressive.
Melky Cabrera, 0 for 1 tonight. Now that's going to be all over the internet now, but you think, that would have been a good trivia question, because not a lot of people would have thought maybe of Babe Ruth, because he was mostly a pitcher, I think, early, wasn't he, when he was with
he won 100 games
with Boston?
as a pitcher.
Yeah.
But he could still hit.
Yeah. He always had that ability.
And speaking of hit, Cabrera, he does a number. He has good numbers against Corey Kluber, and he got himself a high fastball and stayed on it, went the other way.
Just the second hit tonight for Kansas City.
You see, they want it down. This one's elevated a little bit. It made it a little easier for him to take it the other way. He does. As you mentioned, just the second hit.
And now Mike Moustakas.
This is a Kansas City team, though. You got to be careful, because they're not afraid to try and come back. They've got a lot of comeback wins. They never quit on you. Just a little while ago, they were out in Oakland, and Oakland had them down, and they came all the way back to take the lead. They lost one game, then they came back the next day and they won it. They had to come back late. So they will keep swinging. They'll keep hacking.
Left center. Zimmer won't get it. He'll try to cut it off. He does. That's going to keep Cabrera from scoring. His throw into second base. And Moustakas head first safely in there with a double.
Well, that's the reason why you've got Bradley Zimmer in center field here. He stopped that ball to keep that guy Cabrera from scoring from first base. But not only that, he came awfully close to throwing him out at second base. He stops, he plants, he gets it in. And there's the throw. It was a little off the mark, but he has to dive in there head first to get a double. And he barely got to second base. So they get back-to-back hits off Kluber, and now they have an opportunity to cut into that 5-1 lead.
And a guy at the plate took Kluber deep his last time up. Brandon Moss homered to straightaway center field. Inside with the fastball.
Well, there was an 0-2 pitch slider that he had down, but it had middle of the plate, and he shot it out of here. For Moss, his 16th homer. That's the run they have on the board, but they have second and third now with just one out.
Smash to first. Santana's got it. He'll go to the bag. Throw back. They got the runners hung up.
Oh, yeah, there's a mistake.
And they tag him out before the run scores to end the inning.
How about that?
Wow. A brilliant heads-up double play by the Indians defensively, and they caught the Royals frozen in time. Lindor running down Moustakas before Cabrera can get home. Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. Made in Ohio, Ohio proud. All right, back here in Kansas City. Austin Jackson will lead off for the Indians. And the Royals bring out a new pitcher.
He has made 8 starts for him this year. 5-2 record. It's the first time he's ever faced the Indians this year or in his career. 50 innings, giving up 9 home runs.
Austin Jackson singled and scored in the first, fly to left. His last time up. And Jake Junis gets Jackson to swing over the top for a strikeout. 1 down.
When you take a look at Carlos Santana, that was yesterday in Minnesota. Watch him step on first base. The guy's coming home. They make the play. Joe Mauer thrown out at the dish. Today, look at, he kept his eyes open. He threw behind the runner, and Lindor wisely just chases down Moustakas, the slower runner, before Cabrera could come in and score. Really a heads-up play by Carlos.
And I'm sure if you're Ned Yost in that Kansas City dugout, it's bad enough when you're down to a guy like Kluber 5-1. Then you've got an opportunity like that. And I know it's a tough play for the guys on base. It's not an easy play to read, but he's got to be going, oh, no.
Well, Moustakas at second can't outrun Cabrera. Cabrera was going to come in, but he realized Santana could step and throw, so he stopped. But he forced Cabrera to run. You know, so he wasn't keeping his head up. That was a bad base running play. You can't force the guy off third just because it's right there. Look at, he was over half of the way. That's why Santana saw that and said, I got to throw to Lindor, and he just runs him down.
Well, Yesterday in Minnesota with a doubleheader and no off days coming up. Ball chopped to third. Moustakas can take his time. Throws out Encarnacion, 2 down. The Indians, it was unusual. I mentioned it was unorthodox to see the parade of pitchers that came out of the bullpen. Not something you see. Clevenger, who's a starter. Bauer, who's a starter.
Right.
But Mickey Callaway said by doing that, we're able to use everybody in our bullpen tonight. And those guys didn't get overused to the point where, oh no, we've got a problem with the starting rotation. It's just they gave them just enough to get through that game. And now that's what Kansas City's trying to do here tonight. Even though it's not a doubleheader scenario, Jay Bruce lines one to left. They don't want to have to maybe burn through their entire bullpen to get through this game. So Jake Junis, who's been in the starting rotation, will try to eat up a few innings for Ned Yost and the Royals. To go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and Corey Kluber has the bottom third of the Royals order due up. Went around. Two balls and a strike. Alcides Escobar. Brought an 8-game hitting streak into tonight's game.
Guy that can always put the bat to the baseball like that.
Just through the middle of the infield, just beyond Kluber's reach.
He's a guy, he finds a way. I mean, he can expand his zone. This one just got over the glove of Kluber. It almost hit out there and just took a hop, and once it gets over his glove, it's in to center field. So the leadoff single for Escobar.
15 hits in his 33 at bats during his now 9-game hitting streak. That is pretty locked in. And now here is Alex Gordon, called out on strikes to end the 2nd inning.
A guy that's really never been able to get it on track this year. 200 batting average, only 5 home runs for him.
The 1-1, and Gordon waves at it.
Yeah, once you commit to that, going after that breaking ball, you just cannot hold up. It's late break and it just dives down. You see, he thinks it's going to be the fastball, and that's what we say. It comes out of that same arm slot, whether it's his fastball, his slider, his changeup, and you just saw the break on that. Just, it's unhittable.
Fastball right down the heart of the dish, froze him. 4th strikeout for Corey Kluber, 1 down here in the 5th.
And you know, you sit down there and you're looking for that breaking ball again. All right, I'm going to see it again. And what's he do? Throws a fastball at the knees, and it locks you up. I mean, that's where you're guessing right there. Okay, he just threw me a good breaking ball. He's going to try and get me to chase one more. And no, he chose the fastball and gets it by him. 4 strikeouts now for Corey. 2 of them have been called.
And Drew Butera looks at a ball down and away, fastball that Gomes had to quickly get over and stop. And a low fastball as Butera swinging and missing, 1-1. You know, we think sometimes with Kluber, because he's so accurate with his control, with his command, that he'd be easy to catch. But sometimes that ball has such wicked movement that if you're Yan Gomes, you still have to be on your toes back there, because
it's late movement too.
Yeah.
That is the thing about it. You know, some guys, it's hard to tell on the screen, you know, when you see it on camera, but that ball is moving a lot. There are some pitchers that are awfully hard to catch. Although you know he's going to be around the plate.
Now 1-2. Gomes jumps on it and throws him out, 2 down.
He was going to let it roll foul, but he realized it was going to stay in fair territory, so then he had to pick it up and throw it to first base. He was going to let that thing roll foul. But watch, he'll slow down. Let's see. No, it's going to stay right there in fair territory, so you got to get the out.
And with 2 down, Alex Gordon, or excuse me, Alcides Escobar is in scoring position now for Whit Merrifield, who is 0 for 2 on the night.
Merrifield's a guy that really has put together a solid year for Kansas City. after breaking in last year.
Ground ball towards Kipnis. And he'll throw him out. And a leadoff single. Guys at second. 5 complete. Indians 5, Royals 1.
Tribe Rewards, and today's Tribe Rewards code is Carrasco. Visit Indians.com for complete details. Another ball being made in there.
The artists are at work.
Yes, they are. Look at the little towel up there. I'm trying to hide it. We can find you.
It's like their operating room.
Well, it is, man. It gives them something to do during the game.
Now here's Carlos Santana leading off the 6th. He has flied out and walked. And Jake Junis delivers a breaking ball for a strike.
He's thrown that breaking ball a lot last inning and here.
He must have heard us.
Why?
They raised a curtain up there.
I told you. See, that's secret, man.
Now the 1-2. And Santana backs away from a fastball. And Santana with a base hit into right field. Carlos Santana with his first hit tonight. And that's the 7th hit for Cleveland. Mid-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Jason Kipnis started the party with a 1-out homer in the first, his 11th of the year. 3 batters later, Jay Bruce, a 2-run shot. It was 3-0 Indians. After the Royals got on the board on a Brandon Moss homer, it was a 2-out, 2-run single by Yan Gomes to extend the Indians' lead to 5-1. And Kluber has made it stand up to this point.
Yeah, the magic number for Kluber is 4 when he gets his starts. That 4-run. It's his magic number. And they have enough for him than they have in the past, but you always want to keep adding on.
Swing and a miss. Well, just in general, when the Indians score 4 or more, they're 56-13. They get to 5 or more, they're 48-6.
Yeah, and they give Kluber 4 or more, it's 59-0.
Swung on and missed. Down goes Gomes for the first out of the inning. Second strikeout now for Jake Junis.
Yeah, and he throws that. He loves that curveball.
Hey, we've got special birthday wishes we want to send out tonight to Candy Smith, celebrating her 88th birthday. Her and her husband watch from their home in Los Angeles every night. Originally from Canton, Ohio. And of course,
Happy birthday, Candy.
Her son Steve was a former third base coach for the Indians from 2010 to 2012.
Well, happy birthday. Enjoy it. So
Yes,
far,
indeed.
the tribe's doing a good job for you.
And Zimmer is having himself a nice night. His second hit drives that one straight back up the middle. He's 2 for 3.
Picked on a nice fastball. Let's see where the location of this one is. It's pretty much right there. Butera looked like he wanted to go out and pick it up before it got to the bat, but it goes lined into center field. 8 hits now. 2 home runs and 6 singles.
And now Giovanni Urshela 0 for 2 tonight.
Got one more birthday to add. Fran Smith turning 91 from Willard.
All right.
Happy birthday to you, Fran.
Gio pops one back out of play to the right. And he count now 1-2. Out goes Butera. Spun him out of the way. Fastball up and in. You know, the Indians yesterday avoided a big scare with Jose Ramirez. Nothing broken. And expects to be back in the lineup tomorrow night. But it was a nice gesture. Kyle Gibson of the Twins went over and waited outside the Indians clubhouse after the first game of the doubleheader yesterday just to check on Ramirez. Urshela pops one in the air to right. 2 down. And this is the pitch. It got away, and Gibson said, I was trying to cut one in, but it just got away from him. And he said, it certainly was not intentional, was not trying to do that. And Jose said afterwards that he felt really good about the fact that Gibson did come and check on him. And I think, I think as a hitter, you know those things are bound to happen.
Just got him in the bad spot.
Yeah, right on the hand. And
He felt good about it, Matt, but he didn't come out and talk to him.
no, he said he was getting treatment.
He said he was getting treatment. He came out and he said he had no problem with him. He knew he was trying to come in on him, but he didn't come out and say anything to Gibson. But he appreciated him coming over. He was surprised that he came over. He said he didn't have to, is what he told me after the game. He said there was no need to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was done on purpose.
Right. He didn't feel it was intentional, and obviously it was not.
Now, Jose did take BP from both sides, and he did try to get in the lineup, guys.
Swing and a miss. Well, that's what Rick said. Usually when a player comes and says, I'm ready.
I think I'm ready to play.
Give him one more day.
That's right. And the skipper, he's been around too long. He knows better than that. Let's give him one more day.
And to be honest, Jose only had missed 1 game before last night's second game, right?
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I think he could have used a few days off. He's been struggling. We talked about it, Andre. So
Lindor finds the hole. Coming around third, Santana will try to score. Gordon's got a great arm, but he won't even get off of throws. Santana scores on the 2-out single by Lindor to make it a 6-1 Indians lead.
Yeah, that ball wasn't hit hard enough. It was just placed perfectly. And that enabled Santana to score easily from second base, off and running. Once it finds the hole, that was, let's see, about a 3 or 4 hopper. 1, 2, 3 hopper through the infield. So they add on. Now it's a 6-1 ball game for Lindor, his 56th RBI and his first hit of the night.
And Jason Kipnis to the plate. That home run in the first, he walked to lead off the third and came around to score. 800th game tonight at second base for Jason Kipnis, 4th most in Indians history.
Well, this offense rolling for the Tribe. When you look at them, what they've done on this current road trip, they've outscored their opponents 45-19. The offense has been there. The pitching has been there.
Yep, awaiting the 3-1 with 2 aboard and 2 out. And a full count.
Well, he was sitting something else. He wasn't sitting on the breaking ball.
All right, here's who's up next. Bill Wambsgans, Wamby with 937 games played. Then Bobby Avila and Napoleon Lajoie. Wow, almost 1,400 career games.
Yeah.
3-2 pitch, runners go, and a swing. The ball gets away. Buteras got to throw to first. He does, and the inning is over. Indians add to their lead on the Frankie Lindor RBI single to left. Middle of the 6th, 6-1 Cleveland. Eastern on FS1 and streaming on Fox Sports Go. Dodgers are 85-34 heading into play today. To center field, Bradley Zimmer makes the grab. 1 down. Injury report tonight brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. Well, Salvador Perez is one of the leaders, the heart and soul maybe of this ball club, so they miss him. Joakim Soria just went on the DL today, and he's not exactly had a great year. I mean, he's had flashes, but
Trevor Cahill, a guy they traded for, but he's been on the DL how many times in his career, and with every team he's played with. Back on it again with the right shoulder.
I think the thing with Soria is that he's been a go-to guy for Ned Yost because he's a veteran. You know, he's filled a big role for them in that bullpen. And while they You know, they do have Brandon Maurer as experience. You just wonder.
That was a late addition coming from San Diego.
Right.
Trade.
He wasn't exactly having a great year.
Well, they needed help out of that bullpen, and they still do. Now that Soria is gone.
In the dirt.
Nice pick. Watch this one. That's way out in front. Gomes just picked it. Bounced right into his glove like he knew it was going to be there. Kluber still with just 4 strikeouts. Just the Kansas City team. They're 5th fewest as far as striking out. The Indians are 2nd in that category, but these guys are putting it in play.
Kluber stumbled a little bit coming off the mound, and he just couldn't get there in time.
Did he hurt his
foot?
foot?
Boy, I don't know. I hope he's all right. Looked like he was a little.
And look at, he's limping.
He's gingerly.
I don't think Santana ever threw him the ball. Well, let's see. When he was going over, he's very slow. Let's see if anything happens. He goes over.
Oh yeah, he felt it right away.
Something. Yep. I don't know, a hammy or what, but he couldn't get there, and he's hobbling. Not a good sign.
Oh man.
Well, he's got to be out of here now.
Based on what we just saw, you would have to believe his night's over.
Yes. See, Santana was going to take it. He didn't even flip it to him because he saw he was, you know, you can walk it around, but if you have to make another quick move, I would not even keep him out there.
Looks like he wants to.
Well, he may
make
want
a throw.
To. Boy, I'll tell you what. This. Usually, you see how he stopped after that first step. That's when you feel something. Boy, I'd be very careful here.
Seems to look okay.
Yes, but you know what happens if another ball's hit like that and he's got to cover first again. You know, I know it's hard to say, hey, how's it feel, or you know, can you do this again?
No, they're going to keep him
in.
He
talked his way in, so I'm sure if Tito felt anything. Let's see him break over there again. One, there it was, right there. He stopped. I don't know if it was a knee or something just popped, but he never got there, and Santana never gave him the baseball. So that'll go as a base hit. But let's see how this unfolds.
Melky Cabrera got a high fastball and lined it into left field his last time up. Swung over the top there. It's 1-1. Line up the middle, a base hit. And Hosmer stops at second. Well, Terry Francona is going to make a move, I think, here.
Watch his ankle. Little twist of that ankle on the foot that he's planting out in front.
Actually, he's got the trainer that came back out with him. Yeah, just when he went to plant and run over, the ankle just kind of rolled on him. And that's it.
Yeah, they're not going to take a chance, and I don't blame them. You know, if it's okay, then that's fine. He took you into the 6th inning tonight. That'll be fine, and your bullpen's healthy. And guess who we're getting?
It's Miller time here in Kansas City. We'll be back with the Indians up 6-1. Activated off the disabled list today before the ball game. He made one rehab assignment appearance in the minor leagues. He just wanted something to kind of go out there, pitch, and see how the knee reacted and how it felt the next day, and everything was a-okay. And so he's back out here today. Now, Terry told me before the game we're going to be very careful about how we use him, and here he is in the 6th inning. He did preface that with, you know, sometimes that's easier said than done when you're in there trying to win the game and you're managing.
You've got 2 left-handers coming up to the plate right here in this situation. He doesn't want them to even get any runs in this inning, so I could see that.
And that could be, guys, why he got a righty up as soon as he brought Miller in, because he wants to be careful with Miller.
All right.
You guys noticed he got Joe Smith up as soon as he got to the mound as well.
Yeah.
He got Moustakas, then Moss. And a first pitch strike.
Like you're saying, do you want to bring a right-hander in to face these 2 guys? So it makes sense to me. You watch. He wants to close this inning out with Miller getting these 2 left-handers, and he probably will be done for the night.
Fouled right back. It's 0-2.
Yeah, and what did he throw? 12 pitches in that little outing. He had 10 of them were strikes.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's like he picked up right where he left off. But, you know, Tito, to his credit, he said, look, I feel like in some ways I probably overextended him a little bit in the first half of the season. And he said, we need this guy for the stretch run and hopefully beyond. Now the 0-2. Just inside. It's just, you know this, Arch. I mean, if you're a manager and they say, well, only use him in the really, really important games.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to tell somebody when you're going to use him because the game is crazy. It takes its turn every day is different. So you can't tell anybody one way, and a situation comes up, you say, well, I got to get him up. Let's go. I can understand this situation here.
Fastball took off on him. And it's 2-2. And he struck him out. Tied him up with a good fastball. No swinging room whatsoever. 2 down.
Well, that's where you don't give him swinging room, and you see it's the fastball, and once you start, that ball is on you, and it's just tough to pick up. He stands on that third base side, then all of a sudden you see this pitch coming inside, and you get after it. So he gets the out. 2 outs now and a chance to get out of the inning. And another left-hander.
Now Brandon Moss with a home run in the 2nd inning. Then he hit the line drive that Santana turned into a double play. When Andrew Miller came to the Indians last year, it was a game changer. He elevated the bullpen and made everybody else in that bullpen better, I think, just by his addition, because he took over a role and it pushed other guys into different roles. Cody Allen remained the closer. The 3-0. And there's a called strike.
Well, this is the situation you want if you're a left-hander against him. Give me a 3-1 count and, you know, look for the fastball. You don't want to hit that slider. You hope he throws you the fastball here. And he throws the slider. Look, I don't know if Gomes was crossed up or not. It's a walk.
Now the bases are loaded now for Alcides Escobar.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that was a cross up there. He thought he was getting a fastball and he got a slider. 3-1, that's what I thought he was going to throw, that fastball, because he's been having a tough time with that slider. So now the crowd getting into it a little bit. They have some hope here with 2 outs.
And Alcides Escobar is 1 for 2 on the night. Breaking ball in there for a strike to even the count of 1-1. Well, so much for easing your way back into things, huh? I mean, first time back in.
Well,
a couple of guys on base.
You miss a couple of weeks, and you know you're a little rusty right now. He may be trying to do a little too much.
Oh, good fastball there though, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, he's been maybe rushing it a little bit, trying to get back into the swing of things, but those last 2 pitches were pretty darn good.
Bases loaded, 2 out, 1-2 offering. In the air, shallow right. Jay Bruce runs it down, and the side is retired. The Royals leave them loaded. So Andrew Miller's return helped save the day here in the 6th. 6-1 Cleveland. Injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. By the stylish 2017 Kia Optima. And by Smart Path Forward. Lakeland Community College is your Smart Path Forward. Get started today. Good look at the exterior here at Kauffman Stadium. That was part of the redesign when they renovated this ballpark several years ago. Austin Jackson leading off here in the 7th inning. Indians on top 6-1. Jackson 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. Jake Junis came on in the 5th. He's worked 2 innings. He's allowed a run on 3 hits. He struck out a couple. He struck out 3.
Yeah, a lot of curveballs right above our heads.
Has not walked a batter.
Well, the Indians have been able to shut down any offers that Kansas City has had when they've had runners in scoring position or guys on base. They had a big double play back in the 4th inning. And then last inning there. I guess now the key is you want to find out how Corey Kluber is.
2-2. It looked, at least from the replay angles that we had, it looked like he simply rolled his ankle. And he was able to stay in the game, and at least for a few more pitches. And we'll just have to, as you say, wait and see what they say after the ball game. Edwin Encarnacion is 0 for 3. He has flied out twice and grounded out. Throw it away, ball 1.
That's the fastball elevated above the belt there.
Edwin on this road trip, 8 hits, 5 of them home runs. Lays off. He's also drawn a half a dozen walks. He's driven in 7 and he has scored 6 runs. And a smash into left field. So the first 2 are aboard here in the 7th inning.
Yeah, hit that ball hard enough to get it through the infield between short and third. Put a good swing on it, count in your favor, and he gets a ball middle in and turns on it. Escobar couldn't get there. And you're thinking as a pitcher, boy, I made my pitch, I got the ground ball, but that's a little too hard, you know. That one finds the hole, so Indians off to a good start here in the 7th with their first 2 aboard, and they are at the 10-hit mark now.
And here's Jay Bruce. He's already had a good night with a 2-run homer in the 1st, a single and a run scored in the 3rd, flied out his last time on. Blasted deep right, but foul out in front of it just a bit too much. That's
another spinner too. Boy, he made a mistake and got away with it there. Bruce just a little too quick on that pitch. Certainly would have had the distance, but just out in front a little.
It's kind of interesting to see the contrast when Edwin goes up there and he swings. He is trying to hit a ball maybe up onto the highway.
Yeah, he's max effort with everything.
Whereas Jay Bruce looks like he's barely swinging the bat and the ball just.
I said this from the time he's been here. He looks very comfortable in the batter's box, you know, and it's just nice, free and easy. He looks like he's seeing the ball well. He doesn't muscle up. It's nice and fluid.
The 2-2. He blasts another one.
Wow.
Deep
Look
and
at
long
this.
gone into this Kansas City night. And the Indians have blown this baby wide open. Jay Bruce with a 2-homer night. That's a 3-run blast. And the Indians are now up 9-1.
How's that for a swing? You want to see picture perfect? He got something out over the plate, boy, and he drilled it to right center field. It's going to be another slider. He got away with one earlier. He pulled foul, but not this time. They want it down. Up, out over the plate, and see you later. Boy, what a night. He likes hitting here, doesn't he?
That's classic. I wish we had a microphone down there trying to see what Jay Bruce and Jose Ramirez were trying to communicate back and forth there. Boy, that was a mammoth home run by Jay Bruce. Andre, I'm sure you were watching that exchange as well.
I've been watching a lot of the exchanges between those two. And I don't know if we can have a mic there. I might have to figure out a way to say it. But you know what does jump out to me about Jay Bruce and talking to him and being around him and watching him play? He said it when he got here in Fenway, but he's made no big deal about being in the American League and seeing pitchers or parks that he has not seen. He just sees it as baseball.
Right.
And I think that's been the greatest thing about him so far. He has not made a big deal about any of the changes in this first week.
No, he's really embraced it. Santana skies one in the air to shallow left.
And I don't.
Go ahead.
It was heard in the interview that we did in the pregame, but I asked him about that, and he told me, he says, after you get traded to New York in a pennant race, everything else is easy, baby. He said this is simple compared to when he had to leave the Reds to come into the Mets. But I did ask him, do you even want to go to Cleveland and play? You just want to stay on the road the rest of the year?
Well, are you kidding me? He can't wait to get to Cleveland. He's a 4 homers, 12 RBIs in 23 games there. So, yeah, I think he'll adjust to his new digs very well. We've got a timeout for another pitching change. Indians on top now, 9-1.
Well, there's a breaking ball that ended up into the fountain in the first inning for a 2-run homer. Then another slider out over the plate. That one not quite as far, but it was a little deeper to right center field. But boy, 2 good swings on the baseball. 5 ribbies, 3 hits, 3 runs scored. What a night for Jay Bruce. The Indians now with 9 runs on the board on 11 hits. They have homered 3 times.
I was thinking about this as we were in the commercial break. Since Jay Bruce joined the Indians, and this has all happened now in just the last 5 games. Edwin has had a multi-homer game. Jay Bruce has now had a multi-homer game, and Santana had a multi-homer game. Your 4, 5, and 6 hitters, all within the last 5 games, have had multi-home run performances since that guy came on the scene.
He's settled that lineup down because he's lengthened it out as we talked about. And you know, you've got Hosey sitting the bench now, so you know you could give him some time off the way they're swinging the bats. You know, and make sure that he really is healthy when he gets back.
Yan Gomes, a key 2-out, 2-run single in the 3rd.
Yeah, that was a very big hit.
That took it from a 3-1 game to a 5-1 game.
Right, and that was in the 3rd inning. You know, with 2 outs, they didn't let him settle in. No, that was that did it for Ian Kennedy tonight. Going to remain winless at home this year.
Yan with a liner to center, and a nice grab there by Cain for out number 2.
He's swinging it. He's stinging the baseball.
And Bradley Zimmer with a couple of hits tonight.
First one going to left field. Second one coming right back up the middle. On a fastball. So that's got to feel good. He's got to be in a much better place. And there he is right there looking at the ball game.
That was from yesterday, right? That man unveiled the Zimmer ball yesterday.
This usually boisterous crowd is just sitting down watching. They can't believe it's a 9-1 ball game on a Friday night with fireworks to follow.
Fouled right back.
There's not been a whole lot to cheer about if you're a Royals fan.
Back out of play.
Yeah, it's been a long night for that Kansas City defense, standing out there and waiting.
Zimmer rolls one to Hosmer. Long flip, but it's on the money. And the inning is over. Stretch time in Kansas City. Jay Bruce bruising the baseball tonight. 2 home runs. He's driven in 5, and the Indians are up 9-1.
this weekend in Kansas City for a homestand, and next Friday night out at Progressive Field, it'll be the Indians will take on these Kansas City Royals coming to Cleveland, and it'll be 10,000 fans will receive a Rally Together scarf. That'll be courtesy of United Airlines. After the game, you stay for the fireworks featuring our own player walk-up songs. Plus, you can get $2 Miller time out in the right field district. Just go to Indians.com for the details.
I love that girl that brought the sign, "A House Divided." Mom is an Indians fan, Dad is a Royals fan.
Oh, yeah?
Joe Smith coming on for the Indians. His 44th appearance overall this year. And Brandon Geyer takes over for Austin Jackson in left field. Alex Gordon 0 for 2, fouls one off. Off the plate. Joe spent 5 years with the Indians from 09 through 2013. Bounce towards third, short, but it's Urshela, the third baseman, who makes a spectacular play.
That really was. That was not as easy as it looked, because that ball had some topspin to it, and he had to catch it from behind him as it was going past. He wasn't in front of it where he had a good look. He had to field it off to the side, watch the spin. He had to let that ball hit the second time. That was really a nice catch to catch it cleanly and get him at first base, because his hand had to go down on the baseball. Usually it comes up. Good play.
One down for Drew Butera, who has struck out. They hit a little leader right out in front of the plate. It stayed fair, and then Yan Gomes threw him out.
I didn't hear Andre yell heads up to those people down there. What's wrong, Andre? You on vacation?
You missed me at home. This is my home place.
Oh, well, you got to give him a heads up, brother.
Yes, I only take care of my brethren that are amongst me. Those are fans.
There's a pop-up on the infield. Kipnis, Santana, both there. It'll be Kip. 2 down. Indians Royals continue this series tomorrow night here at Kauffman Stadium. We'll be on the air an hour earlier. Trevor Bauer, Jason Vargas, the matchup. And our coverage with Alan Jensen begins at 6:30. Indians live, and then first pitch at 7 Eastern. Top of the order, Whit Merrifield 0 for 3 tonight. Kansas City came into the game tonight 5.5 back of Cleveland in the wild card race, but 6 games back in the loss column. They started the night a half game back, but even in the loss column in the wild card hunt. So while you want to win the division, everybody understands with the new format, nobody wants to have to roll the dice with that 1-game wild card deal. But if the division slips away, it still gives you an opportunity.
Right.
And Kansas City currently chasing the Angels, who have been really playing some inspired baseball of late. The Angels had won 7 of their last 10 going into tonight's action.
Beating Baltimore 7-5.
Yeah,
well, and like what Ned Yost says, hey, we want to win the division, and rightfully so, because they have 10 games, now 9 against the Indians before the season's over. But they're going to have to play some awfully good baseball to get back in.
Joe Smith works a 1-2-3 seventh, and we go to the 8th. 9-1 Indians. Not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. We head now to the 8th inning, and the Indians have had their way with Kansas City tonight. It started with the long ball, and it has kind of ended with the long ball. They had a pair of homers in the first. Jay Bruce a 2-run shot to make it 3-0, and then Jay with a 3-run homer in the 7th to expand the Indians' lead in 9-1. Now here's Giovanni Urshela in the 8th, and Kevin McCarthy, who just got called up when they put Joakim Soria on the DL. Chopped up the middle, and it gets through. So Urshela with a base hit. And I think that's now 15 out of the 18 games that he has started. He has at least a hit or a walk. Yeah, 15 out of 18. He's reached safely.
Good for him.
Kia in the driver's seat. Are you a big believer in the run differential stat?
No, not really. I mean, it's nice when you outscore them, but you just got to find ways to win. I don't care if it's by 1 run or by 12. I mean, that's what happens sometimes when you get teams with very good offenses. They're blown out of proportion, and you have other teams that they're still in the hunt, but you know, it's just not many.
I guess the point is you could have a couple of blowout wins, and that looks really good, but
well,
it doesn't necessarily mean you're.
No, it does not. Okay, we've outscored them by 150. Well, you know, you're also you look at the division leaders.
They get 1 at second. Lindor beats it out.
I get what you guys are saying, but wouldn't you rather be on the plus side than you know what I mean? I know. I think it does say something, I guess is what I'm saying. I know it doesn't tell everything, but it tells you a little bit of something.
No, I understand. It's not that, but what are you going to do if you beat it by 115? You're still. Yeah. I mean, you look at other teams that have more wins than the Indians, and it's probably not that big of a disparity there.
Right. Well, I look at Texas that's up there, and we know Texas has a great offense, but we know their pitching isn't the best either. So I get it. I know what you're saying.
Well, I guess what happened now, it's starting to really expand because the pitching's getting so good, and now the offense is taking off. So they're both firing on all cylinders. So they're scoring a lot of runs, and they're not giving up many. That's what that means. But when it's all said and done, you want that W at the end of the day. I don't care what the score is. You know, some teams they don't have a great offense, and You know, they're not going to blow teams out. They play a lot of one-run games. You know, you look at the Indians, they're 13-13 in one-run games.
Kipnis sends a fly ball to left. And Alex Gordon makes the catch for out number 2. I guess the one thing that I just kind of came to mind as we talk about that run differential deal is I always remember the story. You know, up until Joe Carter, the most famous home run in the World Series was Bill Mazeroski. You only got to end a World Series with a home run, Game 7 and the whole deal. Well, in that series, the Yankees beat the heck out of the Pirates in the 3 games they won. They destroyed them.
It wasn't even a ball game.
But the Pirates won 4 close games, the one-run games, and that's so they're in. You know, you look at the run differential, and it probably didn't look like it was an even series, and yet
they ended up winning 4 games first. Yeah. Well, that's what you're talking about, a short series, and I guess when you look at 162 games, you're going to see a lot of teams with the good teams, you know, with the offense, and they have some pretty good pitching. That's just another stat to talk about. I think it was Baltimore a couple of years ago that came up with that, and they were right around even. But they were like 11-2 in extra inning games.
Oh, remember that? Yeah, one-run games.
It was really goofy, and they had the best record in all of baseball. One-run games, extra inning games, and you know their run differential was, I don't even know if it was a plus.
Well, all I know is the Indians started the day overall pitching with the best ERA in the American League. And when you don't give up a lot of runs, you're going to be on the plus side of that run differential if you got a decent offense. Dyer takes a called third strike to end the inning. We'll go to the last half of the 8th, and the Indians are +8 tonight. Indians 2, 3, and 4. Well, the Indians got him in the first, and they got him in the third, and knocked him out in inning number 3. And Corey Kluber was well on his way to having another one of those really overpowering performances, but he rolled an ankle in the 6th inning, just coming off the mound to go over to cover first base on a ground ball by Eric Hosmer after there was 1 out. He stayed on for 1 more batter, and then Terry Francona, I think he took him out for precautionary reasons because Kluber looked like he was okay. But I think Terry looked at the scoreboard and said, we need this guy. We can't take any chances on losing him.
I'm surprised he let him stay in for that second guy that he gave up a hit to. But we haven't heard anything yet on Kluber.
Stay tuned for Indians Live with Alan Jensen. They may have an update. Fly ball into right field for Lorenzo Cain, and his first hit of the night off the left-hander Tyler Olson. So if you missed it earlier, this was back in the 6th inning with 1 out. He just kind of rolled that right ankle. Watch the right ankle as he goes to take off. It just.
Yeah, that first step he tried to push off and he just quit. They gave him a couple warm-ups and he gave up another hit and he came out of the ball game.
Olson facing Eric Hosmer, and it's 0-2. Swung on and missed, and Olson strikes him out on 3 pitches. 1 down here in the 8th inning.
Well, the big curveball, the first time that Hosmer has faced Olson, you can see he's not into it right there. Didn't realize that breaking ball was that good, but he ends up chasing it. They get the first out.
Arch Redbird couldn't help himself. He looked it up. 1960 World Series. The 3 games the Yankees won, they were plus 35 in the run differential.
Wow.
And in the 4 Pirates wins, they were plus 7. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't always.
Well, I'm glad you thought about that. I wasn't going back that far to think about it, but
bottom line is normally it's a pretty good indicator, but it can be maybe
misleading.
In short bursts, it can be maybe misleading at times. Melky Cabrera, a couple of hits on the night. Hard hit ground ball into left field, and Cabrera has his 3rd hit of the night.
He can hit, boy. He loves hitting against the Indians. He was hitting .349 coming into today's game against the Indians this year. You tack on 3 more, and he's got to be up around 400. But finds a hole. This one from the right side of the dish. So 2 guys aboard now, and the left-hander's going to get another chance at face another good left-handed hitter.
Mike Moustakas 1 for 3, doubled back in the 4th inning. $35,974. The attendance tonight here at Kauffman Stadium on a warm Friday night. You know, I was thinking about that as we talked earlier with Kansas City, with all these impending free agents on their team. And as you said, you know you're not going to be able to keep everybody. And sometimes as fans, you look, you're frustrated, you're upset when a player leaves through free agency. You want him to stay. The organization said we'd like to keep him, but the guy ends up going somewhere else. Melky Cabrera is an interesting example because he said many times publicly, I want to stay in Chicago with the White Sox,
right.
Even though it looks like they're headed for a rebuild. And
yes, they are.
It's going to be maybe a couple of years before they're ready to challenge again. He said, I want to stay here. This is where I want to be. And they trade him.
Yeah.
So it does go both ways sometimes.
Well, that's the way the game is nowadays. When you're a small market club like a Kansas City, like Cleveland, you can't afford to keep everybody, that are coming up at the same time. How often do you see 4 or 5 or 6 free agents coming off the same team that came up, and these guys won a World Series together throughout their minor league system? That's a rarity. So they're going to have to pick and choose. There's a good center fielder right there that can cover the pasture in this thing, in this ball yard. You got Hosmer, you got Moustakas, you've got Escobar, who's been, you know, like it's just the everyday player here for these guys at short. So decisions are to be made.
Now the 2-2. Swung on and missed, and Olsen has his second strikeout of the inning.
He got 2 pretty good ones too when you get Hosmer and Moustakas. He's got 1 more to go now. Going to get him with the big sweeper. Breaking ball starts behind you, and you think that thing's never going to get there. You can see him there started out. It looks a lot faster than what it is.
Well, maybe when we get home we'll get a chance to ask Chris Antonetti or Mike Chernoff if when you're putting a roster together, how much of that goes into the thinking when you're extending contracts. Do you want to try to stagger them so you don't end up with 5 free agents at the same time?
I would think so, but sometimes that's not always the case. If they come up together and they get there at the same time from the minor league system.
Yeah, you have to be able to maybe extend them at some point, you know, to go into those free agent a year or 2.
Right, and the one thing you have to do, you always have to have young players coming up. Your own system has to replenish itself. You have to draft well, you've got to develop well, and you always have to have good young talent coming up through your system, and it certainly helps.
The 1-0.
And the Indians have been much better with that.
High fly ball to right. Jay Bruce is there. And the inning is over. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We'll go to the 9th. 9-1 Cleveland. All right, here's Edwin leading off. 1 for 4 on the night. He blasts one high in the air, deep left. Gordon is going to watch this one curl around the pole for a home run. Edwin's 28th home run of the year. And the 4th home run hit tonight by the Indians. 10-1 Tribe. That was a majestic beauty.
They're starting to come in bunches, aren't they? Yeah, he homered in 5 5 times in a game in Minnesota. They have 4 tonight, and this one does hook around the pole. So Edwin, he scored a couple of runs tonight. That's his 2nd hit and his 28th home run.
Oh man, I think they got a grasshopper down there. Was that a praying mantis?
Yes, grasshopper. They're growing big here in
know.
Kansas City.
We just got official word that Corey Kluber does have a right ankle sprain. No other details at this time, but stay tuned. Once again, Andre may have more on Indians Live from the clubhouse. Jay Bruce trying to beat it out. It was a bang play, and Escobar able to throw him out by a whisker for out number 1. Look at that. Everybody in the action
that's
tonight.
What you like to see. Everybody join the party. 13 hits total.
And Carlos Santana. A hit, a walk, and a run scored tonight.
And they scored in 5 of the 9 innings tonight. 1st, 3rd, 6th, 7th, and now the 9th. You know, you see a lot of places when the game's lopsided like this one is. A lot of people get up and leave. There's still a lot of people sitting here.
No, you're right.
And waiting for that 9th inning and their fireworks show after the game.
You got to figure for some of these folks that come out here tonight,
Well,
this is their last big weekend before school starts.
And plus,
maybe.
you know, they come from long distances when you're coming out to Kansas City. It's it's spread out.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not like downtown where a big city can come and get in here. They're driving distances. When we come in early at about 3:30 in the afternoon, you see people out there tailgating. They make a day and a night out of it.
Santana draws a 1-out walk. And it will bring up Yan Gomes. And I realize geographically the Cardinals are a pretty close rival, but they still have fans from that, as you say, drive from a long distance that call this their home team.
Well, you go to Nebraska, right?
Oh, yeah.
From here, that's what, 3 hours away, but a lot of people, big Royals fans.
Gomes puts one into the gap, but running it down is Lorenzo Cain on the warning track for out number 2. And as you said earlier, Gomes is stinging the ball even when he's making outs.
Yes, he is. He's locked in.
He's hitting the ball hard. So 2-run single back in the 3rd for Gomes. That really jump-started the Indians toward a blowout win. And here's Bradley Zimmer breaking out of his offensive malaise with 2 hits tonight. Back out of play. In addition to the 2 for 4 tonight, he had a hit yesterday as well. And he hits a high fly ball deep to left. Back is Gordon. Onto the warning track before he pulls it down. Edwin Encarnacion sends a high fly ball down the left field line just inside the foul pole for a home run, and it's a 10-1 Tribe lead. play of the game. How about some defense tonight?
Yeah, Santana, nicely done. They had second and third and 1 out. He steps on the base, but Moustakas actually forced him to run, and Santana caught it out of the corner of his eye, gets it up to Lindor. He outruns him. They get out of the inning. That was a double play and kept him only at 1 run. So really a heads-up play. He did the same thing yesterday in Minnesota, stepped on first through home. So Santana playing pretty solid first base.
You know, Rick, take a minute now and just kind of consider that for a moment. How would you rate what he's done all season long? Because coming into the year,
he's been fine.
I think we were kind of wondering how much would he play? How much would Edwin play first? He's been the everyday first baseman.
Yeah, other than one little stretch where I think Encarnacion played for about a week or so. But I'll tell you what, Santana's gotten better over there on the course of this year, I think. He can really hold his own. He's developed. He's been fine.
I would agree. I mean, I think his instincts with the glove help him a lot. You see, sometimes you see guys at first base, they just don't look comfortable with the glove.
No, he's fine. He's comfortable now. You know, sometimes it's tough to pick balls over there, but he's helped him out, and there's sometimes where you don't worry about it. But I'll tell you what, the infielders on this ball club make his job so much easier because Lindor, Ramirez are so accurate with their throws from that side of the diamond.
And Urshela as well.
And Urshela when he comes in, and Ramirez is flip-flop. Kipnis hasn't been over there a lot at second base because of the injuries that he's had sometimes this year. But I'll tell you what, pretty accurate arms on the infield for him.
Escobar tried to go up the ladder, couldn't get to it. And it's 1-2. Nick Goody on the pitch here in the 9th inning. Fifth Indians pitcher to work here tonight after Corey Kluber went 5 1/3. On a run on 6 hits, walked 1, struck out 4. Left after he sprained his right ankle in the 6th inning. High pop up. Kipnis behind the bag. 1 down. Fouled right back by Alex Gordon. Now the 0-1. And Gordon pulls it foul. Hard to believe, as good a player as Gordon has been for most of his career, to look up and see a 198 batting average just late in the year.
I know it. You know, you can see getting off to slow starts, but you know, good players usually pick it up, and maybe it's just been one of those years for Alex. I don't know. But you know, solid outfielder. We watched him switch from third base to left field and did a heck of a job, and won Gold Gloves out there. So, you know, after they won the World Series, he was a free agent, and they signed him and gave him a pretty big, hefty deal.
Well, I remember talking to a prominent member of the Royals front office after that, and he said, "Yeah, it's a shame we won't have Gordon anymore." I mean, they had already written it off like he won't be back. And it ended up that he did re-sign. Broke his bat here, and Lindor can't quite make a leaping catch. The barrel of that bat ended up halfway between first and second near the outfield grass. There's a shard of it just beyond the pitcher's mound.
Well, this ball, he got just enough of it. I thought Frankie was going to have an opportunity. You see, he had to wait before he could get started back. It was right over his head, and he got a little delay on the turn to break back, and he had just over his outreach glove. And there goes the bat. Wow.
Yeah, now Drew Butera 0 for 3 tonight. Swung on and missed. Well, the Royals get some good news tonight in the form of a walk-off grand slam by Manny Machado as the Orioles stun the Angels tonight 9-7 in Baltimore.
Oh boy. Yeah, the Angels were in control of that game all night long, weren't they? Till the 9th inning. In Baltimore, it can happen. Those two met last week, I think, out in LA.
Swung on and missed. Butera tried to go downstairs, couldn't get to it. Minnesota is tattooing Arizona tonight. 10-2 or 10-3. 10-3 is the score there. There's a high pop up. Lindor makes the catch. 2 down. So Minnesota will move into a tie with the Angels for that second wild card spot. If they go on to win, which it would appear they will. They're up 10-3 in the 8th.
Yeah.
And then Kansas City would stay a half game back. But still, it's so
well. Like we talk about it
up
every day, and you know it's going to say who gets hot. That can somebody get hot enough to where they can really move up.
Fouled back.
Hard to do. It all depends on who you're playing.
Speaking of hot, St. Louis with a big number tonight. They beat the Pirates 11-10. They were only a game and a half behind the Cubs at the start of the day. Cubs did beat Toronto, so they'll stay on top of the Central. But Milwaukee's only a game out there, so there you got 3 teams within a game and a half of each other in the NL Central.
And that's what they want to do. You got to win that division because you're thinking the wild card is coming from the West. You know, when you look at the Royals, they've got, after tonight, 9 more games with the Indians. Then they've got the National League they still got to play. They got to play Arizona, and they have to play Colorado. The Colorado comes in here on Tuesday for a 3-game series. So they're going to see the couple of tough teams from that Western Division of the National League that the Indians had a tough time winning against.
The 1-1 swung on and missed. And Kansas City down to their last strike. Up and in.
Slider got away from him. Slipped off his hand.
Whit Merrifield. A strikeout, 3 groundouts on the night. Swung out and missed. Goody strikes him out to end the ball game. And the Indians tattoo Kansas City by a final score of 10-1 in this series opener. As the Indians move to 67-53 on the year, Kansas City falls to 61-60. Corey Kluber, the winner, he's now 12-3. The loss to Ian Kennedy